What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Essence of Lex. Thank you for joining me again on my Bloom journey. And a part of my Bloom journey is me getting on this camera and just reviewing and recapping some of my favorite TV shows. And we are here again with none other than Sistas, Season 5, Episode 6, called Keep It 100. Before I get started, let me ask y'all, how did y'all feel about this episode? You know, what was your take on this episode as a whole? Comment your thoughts down below and just give me some insight on what you thought about the episode as a whole. There was a lot of, I still don't know exactly how to feel about episode 6. It was a much better episode than episode 5. There still was, you know, some dragging of certain scenes. But overall, it definitely was a much better episode than episode 5. So we finally got, you know, the letters this episode after 3 episodes. Well, we got 1 of 2 of the letters. And we just go ahead and jump into it and talk about it. So, you know, it's very obvious that Zach doesn't want to be there. You know, Miss Lisa is trying to get him to sit down and eat and fix him a plate and all that stuff. And Zach doesn't even want to be there, 1. 2, Zach do not want to eat with y'all people. He doesn't want to do that. He really just came to hear this damn level so he can be out. And you can't blame him for that. Like, I don't want to sit down and break bread with you and eat with you and all of that stuff. Is I'm not on good terms with nobody in that room. Well, he's not on bad terms with Miss Lisa. Miss Lisa even gave him a hug when he walked through the door. So he's not on bad terms with Miss Lisa, but, you know, he doesn't care for Aaron at all. And, you know, him and Karen is not on good terms. So I don't blame him not wanting to eat and sit down and prolong this any longer than we have to. Like, Miss Lisa just got there, so she don't even know the half of what Zach has been through with trying to just, you know, move on with his life. I was Zach, I would have told them, you know, nah, I can't eat. You know, me and my girls got plans, so if we can, you know, hurry this on along, I really want to get back to her type thing. Like, talk your shit, Zach. Talk your shit. Like, I really want him to, you know, talk his shit. Like, no, I don't want to eat. Miss Lisa, no disrespect, I don't want to eat. You said we came over here so we can try to work this out and figure this out. Let's get to that. Other than out of respect for Miss Lisa, he did sit down and make him a plate and eat. I don't remember exactly what happened. Some words were shared and Zach was like, he can't do this. He want to go. And Karen said, and Miss Lisa was trying to stop him from leaving or whatever. And Karen was like, well, just let him go. That's what he's good at. You know, every time he hears something that he don't want to hear, or every time somebody tells him something that he don't want to hear, he just up and leave. And I was saying to myself, Karen, what do you do when somebody tells you something you don't want to hear? I got a few things that you do if we have to go down memory lane. One off the top of the dome is you act like you didn't hear it. Case in point, Zach has told you so many ways that it's over and he has moved on. Zach has told you. Andy has told you. Danny has told you. Sabrina has told you. Fatima has told you. So many people has told you that it's over with you and Zach. But yet, you ain't hearing them. You act like you can't comprehend what people are saying. You are ignoring the fact. You are ignoring what people are saying. So you saying Zach likes to leave. But what about you? Let's talk about you. Let's take accountability for Karen, not nobody else. Let's talk about Karen. We don't need to talk about Aaron. We don't need to talk about Zach. We don't need to talk about your mom. We don't need to talk about your father. None of that. Karen has to take accountability for herself and her actions, her reactions, her decisions, all of that. And until Karen does that, she's going to forever be in this state of blaming everybody. That's 100. You know, the episode is called Keep It 100. I'm just keeping it 100 with y'all. Until she takes accountability for herself, she's always going to be playing the blame game. Of course, Karen reads Aaron's letter first. You know, anything to keep Zach there longer than he wants to be. Aaron read Aaron's letter, and really, it's a letter to Aaron, but she was bashing Zach. It's like every few sentences, Zach's name came up in the letter. And I'm not understanding. It was a letter to both of them. That first letter was a letter to Aaron and Zach. And I'm not understanding if this was supposed to have been a letter to Aaron, you know, expressing how you feel in regards to Aaron. I don't understand why Zach's name came up so many times. I don't understand why you decided to, again, tear this man down in this letter. But Karen sees no wrong in that. She sees no wrong in that. And if she sees wrong in it, maybe it's her way of trying to get back at him or whatever the case may be. But in this letter, you still is tearing this man down. On a certain part of her reading the letter, I was like, there's no point of Zach even having his own letter at this point. Like, there's no point. Like, you're talking to Zach in this letter when it's supposed to be for Aaron. I feel like she could have written this letter to Aaron without the mentioning of Zach's name throughout the letter. I really think she could have accomplished what she set out to accomplish without taking jabs at Zach. In this letter, you know, overall, just basically telling Aaron that, you know, she's not in love with him and that at some point, you know, she was using him, which, you know, we all know, we have all figured that she was using Aaron trying to get back at Zach, but it backfired on her. You know, she was trying to play, like they say, Zach game, and she ended up losing playing his game. I'm just keeping it 100 with y'all. Also in this letter, she was like how she liked the way that Aaron treats her, and something about she wished that she would have came across Aaron first so she knows how it feels to be treated or something like that. And again, it's back to accountability. How did you treat Zach, Karen? Like, Karen really should, you know, just step outside herself for a little bit and see things for what it is. Like, you keep this is not a one-way street relationship. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna keep saying that this relationship didn't fail just because of Zach. You know, Karen had her own doings and Karen had her ways and all of that. At the end of the day, they both caused pain to each other. It's just on one side, Zach is admitting it and taking accountability for it, and Karen has not. You know, so she get through her letter or whatever. Before I continue, I just want to give a hand clap to Ebony, though. Ebony, who plays Karen, some phenomenal acting that she did right there in that scene, and she delivered that scene. She really did deliver that scene. So just give her a hand clap. Sometimes, you know, people don't know how to separate the character from the actual actor or actress. So and sometimes some people play the character so well that that's just all you see and that's just all you will know. But, you know, we're going to give a hand clap to Ebony for, she definitely delivered that scene and the reading of that letter. She did. The tears and everything, like, she killed that. She killed that. But now let's get back into Karen. Aaron says his little piece to the letter or whatever. So Aaron, of course, he's so understanding. He's so perfect. He shows this perfect, yada, yada, yada. So Aaron says that he understands. But he still wants to try with Karen. I don't know why Aaron is so keen on being with Karen. That part is not clear to me. You know, even after hearing these letters of her basically saying that she's not in love with you and that, you know, at some point she basically was using you, he still wants to try. And I don't know the reasoning behind that right now. Right now, Karen is fragile. And Karen, you know, needs to go on a healing journey, you know. And would it involve Aaron being on that journey with her? You know, only time will tell. But why he's so keen on being with her and all of that, I honestly don't know. But that's what Aaron said. You know, he wants to still try and still, you know, I guess, show her, you know, a love that she's never seen before, or something on that accord. Like I said, I'm not speaking verbatim of what he said, but you know, just overall, that's basically what I'm getting from that. Is basically he still wants to, you know, stick it out with Karen and try with Karen and show her a love that she's never known before. After Aaron said what he said or whatever, Miss Lisa dropped some knowledge. She basically said that, you know, sometimes a person can be in the dark with no, you know, breaker box in sight. But sometimes it takes a person to find that breaker box, turn the switch on the breaker box, and then you can see the light again and start to feel again. That's what Fatima did for Zach. Fatima, without even really knowing much about him, she turned that switch on for Zach. She really did. And she did something to him, and he realized what he needed in a woman. A beautiful love story. It's not perfect. Far, far, far from perfect. But indeed, a beautiful love story. So, you know, like I told y'all, we got one of the two leathers in this episode. We did not get Zach leather in this episode. That's going to be in episode 7, we hope. But what's crazy is before episode 6 aired, a picture got released of Fatima actually at Karen Place, showing up for the leathers. So we knew before episode 6 aired that Fatima was going to pop up. I had been saying that all along anyway, but it kind of confirmed that she definitely is going to go over to Karen's house. And soon as the picture released, I said, they're going to drag that out another episode or two. They're going to drag that letter out another episode or two. And this was before episode 6 aired. So we already knew at the end of episode 6 was going to be Fatima popping up at Karen's house. So indeed, we'll save that for episode 7 review and recap. So after the reading of Aaron letter, I guess, you know, Karen was too emotional to continue with Zach letter. So they took a break. They took a break. So Zach calls Fatima, right? Fatima asks him, you know, how's it going? And he's basically saying, you know, that Karen is blaming him for everything. Which, you know, at the end of the day, that's all it comes down to it. She's blaming Zach for everything. So, you know, he's 100% right on that. And then Fatima asks him, well, what kind of exercise is this? That was my sentiments exactly. Like, I've been against the exercise since jump. But when Fatima asked him that, it brought me back to like, yeah, what kind of exercise is this? Like, what are we going to get from this exercise? Because right now it's not seeming like it's going good. From my viewpoint at the moment, it don't seem like that this is good for Karen, because Karen hasn't, you know, taken accountability. So it doesn't seem like it's doing anything. But I guess we'll have to see, you know, as the season go on, like not only what type of exercise is this, but we taking a break in the middle of the exercise. So now we are prolonging me being here even more because she's emotional. We need to take a break. And furthermore, you're wasting my time even more. We really taking a break. Yeah, leave it to Tyler Perry. So Karen comes back from her break or whatever, and she's about to read her letter to Zach. And she started off with saying that, you know, this is not a personal attack on you. First off, when people start off that way, this is not a personal attack on you, or I'm not trying to offend you or anything like that. Usually what they're trying not to do is what finna follow. So Karen saying that this is not a personal attack on you, I'm pretty sure what following is a personal attack on Zach. But before she could even continue, knock, 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 knock. Who's at the door? Fatima. Fatima is at the door, and she showed up like I knew she would. Madam has arrived. Madam has stepped on the scene. Finally, Madam is over at the Fatima household, you know, drinking, you know, with Angela, meeting Andy, all of that. Just a lot of beauty that was in that room. I love Eva. She plays the hell out of Madam. And I don't even think that there's anybody else that I can think of that can play Madam the way that Eva plays Madam. Madam introduced herself to Andy. She didn't even, give Fatima time to say, well, hey, this is my cousin, such and such. Madam introduced herself like the boss bitch she is. And I love it. Andy is not street. Andy is the type of friend that, you don't bring around everybody. You don't bring her around your street and gangster friend. Andy looks scared. Andy looks like she's about to, shit herself. For lack of better words. She done found out Madam owns Club Eden. She done found out that Madam is responsible for getting Hayden beat up in that parking garage and then being left on that car naked. I found out that basically Madam is a gangster. Like, she's finding out a lot of information about Madam right there in front of Madam. So she has questions, but she's trying not to question Madam. She has, fears, but she's trying not to show it. If you watch all the Queensmen, you know how Madam roll. Madam, wants to get straight down to business. So she goes straight into it. So Fatima, why am I here? Why did you call me? And Andy proceeds to, ask her for help about Sabrina. And Madam already knew who Sabrina was. Like she said, she doesn't enter a room without knowing who she's dealing with. She has to be prepared for the unknown. I made one phone call. The phone call to the judge. You watch all the Queensmen, you know what judge she's talking about. But Madam made one phone call and got information on Sabrina and Maurice and was able to get Andy in to see Sabrina the next day. Madam told Andy that she can see Sabrina the next day. One phone call, that's all it took from Madam. Robin who? Robin what? We don't need Robin. We got Madam. Don't ask Robin for no more favors, Andy. I'm serious. Speaking of favors, Madam asked Andy what type of attorney is she. And Andy said she's a divorce attorney. Madam was like, oh shit, I can't do nothing with no divorce attorney. Andy was like, well, I know some criminal attorneys as well. So Madam was like, well, okay, that's good to know, because, I might take you up on that offer. I might need something. And the way she operates, she definitely need to be in touch with some criminal attorneys. So hopefully Andy can keep her word on that. Well, she don't have no other choice. This is Madam. Here go Angela with her mouth. Angela is just telling all of Fatima's business. And if it ain't coming out of Angela's mouth, she is nudging Fatima to tell Madam everything that's going on with her and Zach. Angela talks too much. She really does. And she needs to get that in check. She really do. If there are certain things that Fatima doesn't want Madam to know, that is Fatima business. It's not her place to nudge and start off putting the information out there. I'm pretty sure Fatima has her reasons for not telling Madam certain stuff. But Angela was just, she had diarrhea at the mouth. Like, she was just going. Angela don't spill that, Karen is pregnant and that's where Zach is. They're having a conversation and all of that. Adam basically convinced Fatima to go over to Karen and check her. Because if she doesn't, then it's going to continue to keep happening. And I'm in total agreement with Madam on that matter. So, as we know, she did pop up. Fatima is definitely the little cousin. She definitely is the little cousin. Just from, that episode alone and how she is around Madam, you can tell that she is the little cousin. But I don't want, people to confuse that with weak. I know there was this there was this debate on Twitter where now people is calling Fatima weak, and that is just so left field. Like, I don't know how they got that from that, but that doesn't make sense to me. Fatima being around Madam just gave very much little cousin energy to me. I never once thought that that made her weak at all. But little cousin Tima let big cousin Madam take care of Deja. Y'all, let's get into my favorite scene of the episode. This is my favorite scene of the episode. So, Angela and Fatima, they go knock on Deja's door. Madam is off to the side. You know, Deja can't see her quite yet. So Deja come out, you know, they share some words or whatever. And pause. Angela asked Deja what she did for a living. And that kind of threw me off a little bit, because shouldn't she know? She definitely should know what Deja did for a living, because, you know, not to go into Fatima, but on Fatima, you know, she was very much aware of who Deja was. Also, she was very much aware that Deja stayed next door to Fatima them. So why she asked her what she did for a living, I don't know. Maybe it's just to make conversation, or maybe I'm tripping, but I don't think that's a question that Angela should have asked, because she should have known what she did for a living. Like, I think we already discussed this on Fatima, but I'm tired of the, you know, sisters and Fatima, you know, not aligning right now. So I'm not even going to take myself down that rabbit hole. Deja is popping off, you know, she talking big girl shit. You know, she's going off, and Angela and Fatima just over there just watching her go off. But Deja's like, you know, if you want me to shut up, you need to come over here and make me shut up, and yada yada yada. And like, she is going off. Like, going off. And what killed me the most is she going off. Madam done tapped the shoulder. I died. It is the tap for me, y'all. I kid y'all not. That tap on the shoulder from Madam took me out. It really took me out. And what's crazy is that, you know, she didn't even turn around to see who tapped her. She just said, hold on, and kept going. So Madam tapped her again, right? So she turns around, and of course, she knew who Madam was. Motormouth was speechless. Motormouth didn't have any words, you know. One look at Madam, and she had nothing to say. Nothing to say. There's two things Madam don't play about. Madam don't play about her money, and Madam don't play about her blood. And Fatima is her cousin. Fatima is her blood. I think Deja is on the same page now. I think Deja gets it now. Like she said, she heard Madam don't play. She heard Madam don't play, and I hope she is done playing with Fatima and Zach. I really do hope she is done playing. She don't switched up completely, you know. All of a sudden she talking about she was playing with Fatima, and that, you know, what did she say? She said she was, you know, practicing a role that she was trying to audition for. She got Tourette's. Like, she was saying all types of stuff, you know, to get her from being on Madam's bad side. So Madam made her apologize to Fatima. And you know how Medill apologized, you know, sincere, you know, I'm sorry. Like, Medill likes to put that ER on the end of words. So Madam said, I want you to sound a little bit more sincere. So Deja apologized to Fatima. She let her know that if she hear anything from her cousin Fatima about her flirting with her man Zach, about her turning up her music, whatever the case may be, whatever it is that you have been doing, Deja, just stop. Put a cease to it, or you're going to end up in the body bag. Madam told her, I don't know how big your speakers are, but I won't be back here, but I'm going to send somebody else back here to put you inside that boombox. Yo, Madam is a character. Then let's hope that, you know, Deja will stop playing with her life now. You know, from whatever she don't heard about Madam, and she knows it's true, hopefully she stops playing with her life now. All right, what else happened in this episode? There was a scene with Calvin and Q. It was a pointless scene to me. Again, they're dragging that scene. We honestly could have did without that scene. Number one. What else happened in this episode? The Danny the Danny scene. So, what's his name? Logan? Is his name Logan? No, I think Logan is the detective. So this guy named that she met at the airport with the baby mama drama or whatever, I think his name is Jonah. Either way it goes, the guy that, you know, has the baby mama and she ran into at the airport or whatever, they're at the bar, you know, they're at the bar having a drink or whatever. This whole vibe is creepy, it's cringy, and I don't know what it is about him, but there have been several red flags when it came to him that Danny is ignoring. So he said something like, because he's paying for the drinks or whatever, he think that entitles him to sleep with her. It doesn't. Danny decides to bring him back to her apartment. And Danny basically just said, you know, she want to have a hot girl summer. You know, she wants to be free, enjoy herself, have fun. You know, that's that spiel. And so they proceed to kiss or whatever, and Danny touches him, barely touches him. Barely, like literally barely touched him, and like barely touched him, and he said something like he's close, and I'm just like, so that pretty much was the Danny and I can't think of his name, but that pretty much was the scene with them for the most part. Just giving very much cringy vibes, and I'm sure, you know, we'll see how the night plays out with them two in the next episode. Let's talk about a man who kept a straight G, Paris. So, you know, Robin is in his office, looks like it's late or whatever, and Paris comes in to, you know, clean up, get the trash, all of the things that he do. And Robin proceeds to ask him questions. He asked Paris, you know, do you know Andy? How well do you know Andy? Have you ever taken Andy out? Just asking questions that he shouldn't be asking. It's none of his business, number one. Number two, it's just out of pocket. I knew that Paris was going to protect Andy. You know, with his mama, I can't think of his mom's name. And it's crazy because she was in more than enough episode for me to remember her name. It's Miss, I can't remember her name right now, but with the mom, like his mom, I knew that Paris would, you know, would handle this situation correctly. You know, he basically denied everything and didn't admit to nothing. He basically, you know, played along with this. You know, with this, he's a janitor and a woman like Andy wouldn't want him type thing. He basically went along with that. And so he kept a straight G. He kept a straight G, straight player, and protected Andy, and that was dope. Not only that, he even called Andy about it and gave Andy the heads up, so she know how to move going forward. You know, I said in the last video that if Andy wants to be with anybody right now, it should be Paris. Because I don't have a vote for Gary or Robin right now. That very well. Straight G. Hey, y'all. So that's my review and my recap of episode 6. Just how the episode went, you would think that a lot happened in that episode, when in actuality it really didn't. Now that I'm sitting here thinking about it, it was a lot to take in at certain parts. Overall, this was a pretty good episode. Again, there were certain scenes that I think that we could have done without, but and just going back into accountability, and Karen is not the only one that needs to take accountability for her actions, her decisions, her reactions. Like, she's not the only one. There's some more people on Sistas that I think should take accountability for things. And accountability takes courage. I have like a little car rant that I did about accountability that I might actually, release on my YouTube. I don't know yet. I'm still a little iffy about that, but there's a rant I did on accountability that made me realize some things about myself and about me taking accountability for certain things in my life. And it wasn't geared toward a relationship, a love relationship, shall I say. But it definitely was a car rant that I did probably about 6 months ago, and I recorded it. And I might actually release on here. I'm not sure. Y'all let me know if y'all want that. If you want the accountability car rant that I did a while back, let me know down below in the comments, and I might go ahead and upload that so we can have a conversation, a real honest conversation about accountability. But that's my spiel. That's all I have for episode 6, my review, and that's my recap of Sistas. I'll make sure y'all come back and stay tuned for my review and recap of episode 7.